Hello everyone, I am Flankera, and today we're going to continue drawing Manticore from Arknights. So we're pretty close here. When I was looking over things this morning, I realized that I forgot to draw in some shadows under the hair clips. So I'm going to go in and add those real quick. Just a simple little line right here. And some stutter here. There we go. Don't want too much here since it's supposed to be clipped right into her hair. I want just enough to kind of show that something's there. Go ahead and add a couple of little strands coming off too. Just because that's something I like to do with hair shadows. I think it looks nice. And over here. I'm going to keep that highlight as is. I think it's fine. Doesn't make much sense, but this is anime art. Anime doesn't tend to make a whole lot of sense, so it's fine. Don't need to worry about it so much. And add my couple of little strands, just because it makes me happy. And we'll call that good. Hang on, this one is wrong. I need to fix that. Let's try again. As the hair is kind of curving this way. There we go. That should be a little better. There we go. It doesn't look so weird now. Okay, so last time I pretty much finished the character, so I'm gonna go ahead and just refine the background a little bit. I don't think it needs that much. And I'm not even gonna hide the character or anything. I'm just gonna go in and draw as I want. So I'm gonna pick a shadow color for the sand here. Darker? Yeah, that should be good. And just trying to go in and add some darker spots. That might have been a little bit too much, so let me take it back a little. There we go. And I'll do the same for the dunes, although I want to keep them fairly subtle. Honestly, this color might also be fine there. Just enough to add a little bit more interest here and there. Just go in and, like I said, most of this is going to be blurred. So I'm just kind of going in and making sure that there's enough interesting stuff happening back there, that it looks nice compositionally. And maybe add the occasional bit of texture, but somewhere in the midst of drawing all this, I changed my mind on the types of trees that I wanted in the background. So I'm going to take my leaf color and then draw the more palm-like leaves. Like I said, I'm not really trying to get things super refined or anything, just enough that it'll look interesting once I blur it. So my drawing is suddenly going to get so much more messy than it is normally. And that is fine, honestly. Look how loose I'm keeping all this. Just what I can draw very, very quickly. And have it kind of match up with the thing I'm drawing actually is. Something like this. And we'll add a few more. And I have another one coming over here. Maybe another one kind of going behind her hair. Over here. Just trying to keep this palm shape very particular. Make it very recognizable. Something like that should be good. Now let me go pick a shadow color. Just bring it on over to purple, set to overlay. And that looks like a pretty good color. And I'm not even going to zoom in to add shadows. I'm just kind of get a feel for where I think the darker spots are. And based on which leaves are on top of the others. And we're just going to scribble in some stuff. This might be a little bit too messy. I might have to go in and refine it, but I want to do that after checking what it'll look like blurred. I don't want to do any more work than I have to. This is not meant to be a very detailed background. Okay. Go do the trunks of the trees. This trunk I think I'm just going to clear out. Maybe a trunk coming over here too. Just for the stuff that's coming out the foreground. Something like that. That should be fine. We'll pick a shadow color again. Yeah, I knew this part would go fairly quickly, just because I don't have to try quite as hard as I did with the character. Just the nature of what I'm drawing here. Shadow color might be a little bit too dark. I'll see in a sec. Let me just go add some sparky textures. Some stuff to add a little bit of interest. And yeah, I think it's a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna take it back a little. There we go. Okay. Now for the bushes. I'm just gonna use the same colors that I did for the trees. And we'll just make them super leafy. Some nice leafy stuff. Looked up some references on plants in the Sahara Desert before coming to stream today, so I have a good idea of what I wanted to draw. That should be good. Now the water here, I'm just gonna kind of fill in here. Dark color. But what I do with it is going to be a little bit different. Oh, I was drawing on the wrong layer. That's unfortunate. Should be fine. This time I'm just gonna add, kind of do what I was doing for sand, where I just kind of, rather than hard shadows, we're just gonna do that. But since this is water, I also want a very light color. I'm also gonna pick a bright color. Light is too soft. Let's try overlay. That should be good. And then I'll just add tiny little areas where the sun is kind of reflecting off the water. Make it look ripply. More water-like that way. And then put in some extra highlights around the edge. Or kind of meet some of those grasses. Something like that. Okay. And I think that's largely what I want here. So I'm gonna go ahead and group all these. I'm gonna do some test blurs. Oh yeah, I guess I can actually remove my first attempt at the background. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, merge the group. And now I can blur the entire thing. See, this is why I don't want to get too detailed. Something like that is all I really wanted. I think the trees are indeed a little bit too messy, but I think everything else looks about how I want it. I'm gonna go back and refine the trees a little bit. But that's why I figured that I should test it first. As if I could get away with drawing the trees this messy, then, well, I might as well. It saved me a bit of time and effort. But I thought they looked a little bit too messy, so I'm gonna go in and clean them up a little bit. I still don't really have to make it make a whole lot of sense. I should kind of know where everything's living. I'm just gonna go in where I saw the worst of it. And actually, I think before I do anything else, I want to clear all the shadows. Start fresh. There. And now I can just draw everything as I see fit. These are leaves, so they don't all have to be the same size or anything. And I'm just kind of believing what I already drew. Or just making it a little bit neater. And remove a few holes, and I do want to keep all of those gaps to let some of the sky come through, because I thought that looked really nice. That's just something easy you can do with trees to make them look kind of nice. Even now you can see that even though I'm zoomed in, I'm still not super focused on precision like I was in a lot of my rendering on the character. It doesn't have to be neat. It just needed to be neater than it was. I don't mind if there's some bulbous areas. I do want to try to make things taper off nicely, though. I think that'll help things read a little better. Make them look more like leaves. kind of fill in some stuff over here because I don't know what's going on. I don't really feel like figuring it out. This is fine enough. This is where things are getting a little bit chaotic. I have no idea what I just drew here. Honestly, I still don't really know what I wanted to do for the background of this picture. So this idea works fine. I think it works well with all the nice pastel colors I used on the character. Just a nice little oasis with Manticore. It's fine. Like the point of this picture was mostly her face, so I'm just keeping it simple. I don't want to spend too much time drawing this little background. Just enough to have something kind of pleasant to look at. Okay. Wasn't quite sure what was going on for a second there, but since her head wings are a little translucent, I needed to make sure to have at least a bit of an understanding in order to refine it well enough. You can see I'm being even looser over here than I was with the rest of it. You can barely see what's going on back there. No need to spend a lot of time on stuff that you can barely see. Okay, how's that doing? Okay, should be good. Well, let's go in and add some shadows. Okay. I'm gonna turn this into a big leaf. I'm gonna do something like that. We're gonna add some stuff going up the center of some of these leaves. And this will be a big leaf. And some stuff to make them look like little palm leaves. And then some stuff to show which leaves are on top and which leaves are on bottom. And most of this will still be blurred, so no need to make things too complicated. I'm just trying to be a little bit neater than what I was doing with all those scribbles before, but not much. It's still going to stay pretty rough the entire way through. And that's fine. Just kind of lining the edge of the leaves and putting some little indications down the middle. That's all this is going to be. I don't know where a lot of the leaves are in this big mass in the middle, so I'm just gonna kind of pretend. Okay, if I pretend hard enough, maybe they'll show up. At the very least, with everything kind of matching the same direction a little bit more, I think it'll still look a lot better. After all, most of art is just creating illusions. In the end, all I'm looking at is a flat computer screen here, but my brain can see a person with pointy elf ears and little wings on her head. That's just what brains do. So it doesn't have to be real. For a little while, I'll be able to convince your brain that there is someone here looking back at you. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's funny that the brain is actually pretty okay with being deceived as long as it's on its own terms. Brains are truly interesting things. I'll go and add a few more over here. How's this looking? Probably need a little bit more in this mass that I don't understand. Let's just add some leaves. Leaf shapes. I don't know what's going on. It's fine. Okay. Add some dark spots in a few other places around. I think it'll add a little bit more interest once it's all blurred. Gives a little bit more indication on which areas are in front and which are not. Okay, I think that should be pretty good. And then I think I want to add a little bit more shadow underneath where those leaves are. Something like that. And then just a little bit of stuff on the top here. Okay. Take two. Let's see how this does. Yeah, I think that looks much better. So I don't have to blur it quite as hard. Okay. Now I'm gonna blur it very, very hard. So what I did there was I duplicated the layer. Now I'm gonna blur it again. And then I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna take my airbrush, turn it into an eraser, and erase some parts that I want to be a little bit more in focus. And so create a little bit more depth of field stuff that I think is interesting. And there we go, we have a background. I think that's just where I'm gonna leave it. So before I go into stuff like color correction, I want to see if I want to add any, like, bounce light or anything like that. This is just going to be an experiment. I don't quite know how I want to do this in this style yet. Okay, that is extremely promising, though. I'm going to treat this layer kind of like just a gradient. Let me just add some colors from the background and send things a little further back. I'm going to do this very sparingly. think I'm actually going to want to take it off of her head wings there. Okay. Okay, like I said, this is just an experiment. I don't know how much of this I'm going to want to keep. So far, I'm digging it. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I don't think I like that little shadow on her chest. I'm just gonna kill that too. I don't know, do I like it? No, I think it's better like this. Okay. Now we do some other little science. I do think that's a good idea, though. So right now you guys are gonna get to see me try things that I haven't tried before. I don't quite know what I want to do with this, but I kinda like that. Just a little bit of blue in there. Haven't done too many experiments with basic rim light. And I do think it's better. Is it going to be better soft or hard? Let's find out. Keep that the main color for later. And I'll just go in. Oh, maybe it is better hard. Just add a little bit of this blue sky color to her chin. And a few other places. I've seen some people do pretty amazing things with some of this bounce light, as it's called. And I hadn't done too many experiments with it in this style. You can just add, I don't know, make things a little bit more dynamic. Add in some extra color where there isn't any normally. Okay, that is going to make things complicated. That's alright, I'll figure it out in just a sec. Just figuring out how my layer order is going to work out there. I was wrong on the wrong layer, but it looks like it's going to work out in the end. How is that? No, I actually think I don't like it. Okay. That was a reasonable experiment. Yeah, I think I just prefer things like this. This style is very simple. So I'll try one more thing before I give up completely. Maybe I just needed a better color after all. Also possible I just put it in the wrong areas, but we'll see. I'm glad that you guys are here to see me try something new. it's important to try new stuff every so often. That's what makes your art get better and better. Just do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same result, after all. But yeah, I think I just prefer with that, honestly. It's like I've experimented with rim light a few times in other styles, but and I've tried it a couple of times in this one too, but I don't know. This one works pretty well just by keeping it simple, I think. So I'm gonna add a little bit more shadow on her head there. Just from the leaves there. So I duplicated the leaf layer. I'm gonna put it on Manticore. And now I'm going to adjust the color. Bring it more toward the blue and purple that I use for all my other shadows. Just so this way it looks like the leaves are still properly casting a shadow on her. Oh yeah, that's much better. Just noticed that little bit in the corner is not quite right. That's okay, that's what the trusty airbrush eraser is for. Whoa there. Oh no. Dragged some things that I didn't mean to. There we go. Some of these are a little bit harsh, so I just need to buff them out. No trouble at all. Okay. And now I think it's time to go in for things like color correction and some of the post-processing stuff that makes things look nice. So for this particular effect, I want to make it so that I'm just starting to be able to tell that it's blurry. And then it just makes everything look really bright. Wow. Like there, it's way blown out, but I mean, just compare before and after, it's like the contrast, man. Post-processing can do so much. Okay. And this time I'm going to do something similar. Get it to where it's just starting to look a little bit blurry. Except this time, instead of changing the blend mode, I'm just going to take my trusty eraser and erase around the parts that I really want to be in focus. And just leave some other parts a little bit blurrier. I may or may not keep this one. I don't use this particular bit for every picture I do. But I can kind of appreciate what it does when it works out. I like to try. It's worth a little bit of time. See here, I didn't keep that much, but I kept a little bit. And you can see it around here and over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do another one of my favorites, the color balance. So what this does is I have these little sliders, and they will just very subtly adjust the colors. So you can see right now I'm adjusting the shadows. So right now where I'm really noticing is it in the sleeves and then a little bit over here. And it just very slightly changes the colors. How much I make use of this varies, but I always at least like to take a look. I worry I'm making the picture a bit too cool now, as in the types of colors. But I think I can make it warmer in the highlights to make up for that. It's no surprise considering that my own tastes tend to prefer cooler colors to warmer colors. I don't want this picture to look too cold. It's like it's supposed to be a cute little picture. So I don't want the colors to get too cold. Let's take a look. I didn't expect it to make it that much warmer. That's nice. We edit this again. I did not actually remember. Okay, here it is. It's just in the properties. So I think I want to do a few more adjustments. Just minor adjustments to colors. It's actually kind of amazing how big of a difference that these tiny little tweaks can make. Okay. And I mean, you can see before and after, it's very different. Leaves an entirely different impression. I like it. Added a lot more yellow into the brighter colors. And now I'm gonna do one called, what do I want to do? Yeah, I'll just do a color adjustment. So what this often does is makes the shadows a bit darker and the lights a bit lighter. I tend to be pretty good about that, so I don't tend to need too much adjustment. But I always like to mess with it just a little. And here I'm actually going into the individual channels. To mess with the colors all the way through. These colors in computer graphics are just a very different kind of combination of colors. In this case, red, green, and blue. I'm not sure if I like this. Let's take a look. That's good. Maybe just a little bit too strong. Something like that. This is where I go through and check them all, but yeah, I think this might be a finished picture. There's still 15 minutes left before when I would normally want to stop. So I'm gonna give it a quick look over here and maybe talk about a little bit of the stuff that I'm looking for. Just, do I have all the details drawn? I'm gonna go take a look at Manticore's official art again, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Because it's like her hands are covering all the details on her coat. To go back in and draw the hair clips. The back isn't showing the angle. I like the foreground, and I like the shadows that I just put in from the foreground. I think the trees in the background look okay, and this little bit of water is sufficient. Kind of focusing on the deserty atmosphere. And I don't want anything too complicated in the background. Honestly, even this amount of trees might be too much. Yeah, I think it might be, actually. Let's go ahead and hide my filters for a little bit. And we'll clear these two. Oh, it's like I think they look okay, like there's nothing bad here. But I think I want to fade them back a little bit more, so I think I'm actually going to go into my original background and do it there. So this way I have a little bit more control over how I do it. I just think they stand out a little bit too much. And I'll do the same with the bushes. And just put them a little further back. I just felt like they were standing out a bit too much. The color was a bit strong. But that's why I've been keeping the original background layers. This way I can very quickly and easily go in and make all the adjustments I want. Kind of want them to, yeah, be a little further back. So once again, I'm doing an even stronger blur. And then I'm going to erase on the parts that I don't want to be that blurred. And I think it might even be a little bit strong right here, so I'm gonna erase a little bit right over here and let some of the original unblurred versions show through. There we go. And now I'll copy everything again, and I'll do those blurs that I did. And you can see it's pretty easy. Now I just set it to soft light. Kind of get the level of contrast that I want, because you see this looks a little bit too much. But right around here, I think looks pretty good. And I'll do it again. And this time, instead of changing the blend mode, I just take my eraser and I get rid of the parts that I don't want to be blurred. Which for this picture is honestly most of it. That's okay. We can keep a little bit of blurriness on the edges. I liked the way it looked like on this little piece of hair, for example. Keeping most of her little head wing here in focus. And her ears. But this side I think could be mostly blurred. Alright, now I can put this back on. And I want to try something. Actually, I guess it makes more sense to try that down here. I'm gonna take my sun color. I'm gonna brush it just on top of her. Just add a little bit more light on this side. We'll see if I like it. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet. I guess it's okay. Just a little bit more light. Okay. And I think that might be a finished picture. So what I normally do is I leave it and then I make a point to not look at it for the rest of the day. So this way when I get up in the morning I can take another look at it and see if I still like it or if I want to make any slight changes. And then I go through and I double check all the filters and stuff and post-processing stuff that I put on it and make sure that I like that. And all that sort of things. It doesn't normally take me very long, but I still want to do it on stream where all of you can see it. So I'll do that tomorrow, and then I'll probably go in and start a new picture. So I guess today I'll end just a little bit earlier than I normally would, just because, well, I think I've done as much as I can today. The picture's pretty much done. We'll see if I even want to change anything tomorrow. Normally I want to change like one or two things. Something not quite right, and something that just needs just a little bit of adjustment. But for now, I think it's looking pretty good. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, you know, any creative pursuit you can think of, message me on Twitter or Instagram, or just at me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll go take a look and maybe leave some comments too. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.